Welcome back at 9:13. Fact versus fiction, or in the case of a new study done by a University of Illinois political science professor and graduate student, fact versus misinformation. Their study, published by the Harvard Kennedy School Misinformation Review, found almost half of the respondents had trouble distinguishing between fact and opinion. U of I professor Jeffrey Mondak and study co-author Matthew Mettler are joining me now to talk about their study. Thanks to both of you for being here this morning. And Professor, I want to start with you. Can you summarize the study's findings, and did those findings surprise you?
Hi, Dana. Thanks for having us on. So what Matt and I were looking into was whether people could differentiate between a statement of fact, something that could be verified with objective evidence, like 2 + 2 = 4, and something that is a statement of opinion, something that's more subjective. It depends on a person's values or preferences, something like green is the most beautiful color. And we did this with questions about politics, statements about politics, and all the respondent on the survey had to do was say, that's a statement of fact or that's a statement of opinion. And we found that about 46% of respondents were unable to perform better than chance. And that was surprising to us and concerning to us.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it, and I want to expound on it, Matt or Professor. You know, that lack of differentiation between fact and opinion was a particular concern about when it came to politics. Can you expound on that more?
Yeah, I think what I was particularly interested in when it comes to political misinformation, it seems like it's particularly difficult to correct misinformation in politics. So we wanted to look at this between how people process information and where that we might be seeing them not doing very well in terms of differentiating between fact and opinion.
You know, the study also indicates that simply pointing out misinformation after it is disseminated, right, isn't enough to right the misinformation ship, so to speak. So what do you think the best way to do that is then? I don't know, maybe Professor, you want to take that?
You're exactly right about the diagnosis, that you equate this with health. It's easier to prevent a disease than it is to treat the symptoms and make progress after the person already has it. But once misinformation is entrenched, it's difficult to make much progress in correcting it. So we're hoping that by encouraging people to be more critical thinkers as information comes in, hopefully they won't be misinformed in the first place. And there's a role there for public officials, a role for media, and especially a role for citizens to be more discerning as they view claims and to think about what is actually being proposed to them, and is there evidence on behalf of that claim, or is it just somebody's opinion or even somebody's exaggeration?
You know, but it's so many, you say that you know, citizens have to take on that role of being more informed, but obviously, according to your study, that indicates it's not happening. So is there also an education component to this, you know, so that it makes it more difficult for people to ignore what is factually correct?
So fact-opinion differentiation actually is taught in schools. It's taught from early elementary ages all the way up to beginning college level courses. Somehow it's not sticking, or at least it's not sticking in the political realm. If I'm asking questions about 2 + 2 = 4 or green is the most beautiful color, there's no political bias in those. And so people might be able to sort out factual claims from statements of opinion. Once we add political bias to the equation, the problem becomes more severe, because people want certain things to be true, and that motivation is going to distort how they see the claims. We're actually trying on a new project to have people do the 2 + 2 = 4 and green is the most beautiful color kinds of questions first, before the political ones, to see if we can remind them how fact-opinion differentiation works in a non-political setting, and see if they can take that lesson, carry it over to politics, and do better once they get to the political world.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's so much more we could talk about, but there's so many indications or potential repercussions in society now if we continue down this track and you know, folks maybe preferring to go with opinion only instead of trying to really figure out what is factual or not. But I really appreciate you for being here today. Professor Matthew, thank you so much. And again, their study, both of you co-authored this study, Professor Jeffrey Mondak and Matthew Mettler. The study's called Fact-Opinion Differentiation. We appreciate your time, and we look forward perhaps to a follow-up down the line.